Welcome to a special presentation of the Weiss Entertainment Network, 613 on your dial. We'd like to begin a series on the importance of tefillah. Let's be honest. In our community, one of the great challenges is davening. People say that it doesn't speak to them. They don't understand what they're saying. Why are we doing it? It's burdensome. We always have to do it. We just did it yesterday. We did it a few hours ago. In every community, it's become an extremely big challenge. But reality is that tefillah is a special gift from Hashem. It's an opportunity that we have every day to lean on His shoulders, to talk to Him, and to have a connection with Him, as we're going to explore over this series. The purpose of this series is not to solve community-wide problems. The purpose of this series is to create a better sense of tefillah. We are going to explore why we daven. We're going to explore maybe some of the tefillos itself. Where's the proper place to daven, i.e., in shul with a minyan. And hopefully, at the end of this series, we'll come to at least a better understanding of the tefillah. I do want to emphasize that one of the great contributions of Art Scroll is the opportunity to daven in English that we understand. Now they have linear siddurim where you can literally follow word for word. And maybe all of us need to open these siddurim and look at them and try to have it relate to ourselves in our own way. One of the ways I suggest is to pick one tefillah a week that we're going to focus on and focus and read the notes on it, read the words, and try to get a better understanding. I think if we do what's called Iyun Tefilla, as you see on the screen, what I've called this year, making davening relevant, then you will realize what a great and wonderful gift HaKadosh Baruch Hu has given us to allow us to daven. And Mitzvah Hashem, beyond this series that I hope to be able to record on a weekly basis, if not even more often, on Sunday night, September 22nd, right before the most important time of the year for davening, in conjunction with National Jewish Outreach, we're going to have a shir on the Machzor. I'm going to go through the Machzor with you, try to give you insight, try to give you appreciation that Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur davening should be more meaningful. Now, if you take a look here at the screens as they go. So in this first screen, I've titled it, The Purpose of Tefillah. Now, in order to really daven, one of the first things that we have to understand is that we are not in control. If we were in control, then it would be a whole different story. But we're not. And reality is, if a person davens properly, a person realizes that I'm not in control. There's a greater power above me. Hashem is above me. And I need to be humble. I need to make myself humble. I need to do what Chazal call hachno. I need to come to tefillah with a sense of awe. The Mishnah tells us in Maseches Brachos that we don't come to daven unless we have a sense of awe, a sense of humility. When we recognize that, then we're really prepared to daven. And then we can appreciate, as it says over here in the picture, kocho shel tefillah, the strength that tefillah has. The second thing that tefillah does, besides create humility and really help us be a humble person, it creates a connection. When you open the siddur, and when you come to shul, and when you daven, or you say tehillim, or whatever you're doing, you recognize that I am forming a connection with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. I'm saying words, I'm talking to Him, I'm asking Him for help, I'm praising Him, I'm asking Him to make our lives good. It's a whole different relationship once you open that siddur. And the other thing is hashgacha pratis. Tefillah teaches us about divine intervention. Tefillah helps remind us, as it says here, no matter how successful we are, without Hashem's help, it would not happen. When we have to study for a test. I remember my Rebbe in 9th grade used to pass out the tzedakah box before each test. The message was not that you didn't have to study and somehow tzedakah was going to create a magic, but the zechus of a mitzvah is going to help us, remind us of all that we studied. We say on the day of a test, Ata chonin li'odam das. Hashem should bestow upon us wisdom. That's the message. That together with our efforts and together with the help of Hashem, we could be successful. Moving on to the second screen, we have what's called the purpose of tefillah. The purpose of tefillah is to engender in us a feeling that Hashem is always in front of us. We know He's listening. Chazal tell us a better way to guarantee that He's listening to us is to come to shul and daven with a minyan. We'll talk about that more in the next session. The other thing that's important is to use the right organ in achieving success in davening. The Gemara tells us in Maseches Tanis on the pasuk that we say every day in Shema. It says Ula Avdo b'chol levavcha. It says that we serve Hashem with all our heart. That's the Gemara. It's the very beginning of Maseches Tanis. Ezi avoda shebelev. What does that mean? What is the definition of serving HaKadosh Baruch Hu with our heart? Haviyomer zu tefillah. What's the answer? It's davening. When we daven, we serve Hashem with our heart. We connect to Hashem on a very deep level. The Gemara in Maseches Brachos discusses whether women are obligated to daven or not. One of the reasons why it's in a discussion at all is because it's a mitzvah aseh shazman grama. It has a set time. And generally, women are not obligated to do mitzvahs that have a set time. Gemara says no. When it comes to tefillah, women have to daven. Why? Because tefillin is rachmin. Tefillin is we ask Hashem for mercy and compassion on us. And women also have that need as well. Tefillah is avodah shebelev. Our hearts have to be in it. We have to search deep in our hearts, and we have to ask Hashem to help us. And that's the purpose of tefillah, to open up our hearts and connect to Him on a very deep level. What's the goals? Now, the other goal that's important is that we have to recognize that tefillah is not a request box. The purpose of the siddur is not to simply, Hashem, I need this, Hashem, I need that, Hashem, I need that. Certainly, there is an aspect of that as well. We ask for parnasa. We ask that we should have enough sustenance. We ask that Hashem should heal the sick. We ask for all kinds of different things. But before we get to that stage, there's an entire process where we praise Hashem and we recognize Hashem's role in creation, in the Exodus from Egypt, in Matan Torah, and all the different things. Once we come to that, then we're able to properly approach Hashem. So it's not a request box, but it's just simply a way to come close to Hashem. Now, you might ask, if Hashem has a plan, how are we able to daven at all? Maybe are we actually asking Hashem to change His plan? And the answer is no. What Hashem has provided for us is tefillah as an attempt for salvation. He is looking for us to daven. And when He davens, He listens to our tefillos, and He's able to help us. And that's the goal. The tefillah in itself is a salvation. As you look on the screen in the picture, it says, Kel Elokei Ruchot, God who's in charge of the winds, Shalit B'Elyonim Avtaktonim, who's in charge of the high and the low. Tein bi koach lavodasecha li'irascha u'sarasecha. We actually ask Hashem to help us serve Him. That not just that we ourselves have to work on our hearts and we have to turn our hearts to Hashem. We ask Hashem to give us that opportunity to help us along that journey, because we recognize that it is a difficult journey to turn towards Hashem. And that's why we ourselves have to daven. Hashivenu avinu l'sarasecha, we say in Shemona Esrei. Return us to your Torah. Why are we asking Hashem to return us to our Torah? Do it ourselves. Yes, we have to do it ourselves. But we also have to have His help as well. We're going to say on Tisha B'Av in the Haftorah, Dirshu Hashem v'hi matzo. Search out Hashem and you will find Him. What does that mean, you will find Him? Because He's there waiting for us. And He's there, He's going to help us along the journey, the very, very difficult journey that we have. The other thing, Tefillah reminds us that the physical world, the purpose of it is to sanctify Hashem's name. is to create Kiddush Hashem. Whether it's being in business on Wall Street and people see how honest the person is in their behavior, whether it's helping other people, whether it's creating Kiddush Hashem when there's a crisis and Jewish people are running to help save people, all the times that Israel has sent their armies into Japan and Haiti and all these places to create Kiddush Hashem, because we realize that we're on a mission. The mission is that in every act we have to create Hashem's name. Now you might ask, how I'm playing basketball? So how we conduct ourselves with sportsmanship, we talk with good midos. There's so many different opportunities. You know, when the kids, before they go to camp, before the end of the school year, I tell them how every minute of every day of camp is an opportunity to come close to Hashem with our midos. Part of our goal is we have a nice house. The purpose of the nice house is to help us serve HaKadosh Baruch Hu. We put Tzorim in our house. We put mezuzahs on our doors to show that Hashem, that our goal is to create a place where Hashem rests. Torah, the pasuk, the idea in Sefer Charedim says, "Bilvavi Mishkan Evna." I build a Mishkan in my heart, and part of that is to take the physical world and elevate it on a new level. Who were the first to daven? So there's a machlokes in the Gemara in Brachos on Daf Chaf Vav Amud Beis whether davening is keneged Tefillah keneged Avos Tiknum. Did Avram, Yitzchak, and Yaakov, were they the first, or was davening set up keneged Tamidim, the daily sacrifices, the daily korbanos in the Beis Hamikdash? So here in the picture, it's a machlokes Rabbi Yossi, Rabbi Chanina, and Rabbi Shua ben Levi. The answer is both. Chazal tell us Avram Tikein Tefillah Shachris. Abraham went, because it says that he went back to the same place in the morning where he davened for Sodom. Tremendous lesson over there. Abraham goes to the place that he failed. Because sometimes we think that we're not successful in our tefillah, and then we give up. The message that Abraham taught us that even though we fail, we go right back to the siddur and we go back and daven to Hashem. Yitzchak Tikein Tefillas Mincha, when Eliezer was out looking for a wife. Every step in life we need tefillah. When our children are of ages that need a shidduch, or we ourselves need a shidduch, Yitzchak taught us that we have to daven. And every day, at mincha time. Yaakov Tikein Tefillas Arvis. Yaakov was the first to daven. Yaakov was on an uncertain journey. Emes v'Amuna. He went, Yaakov was called Ish Emes, the man of truth, and Amuna. He davened at night when it's dark, when you can't see the world in the same way that you see it during the day. And Yaakov taught us in those dark times, and when you go into Golus, as Yaakov left Eretz Yisrael, remember the siddur, remember to daven. Hashem is always out there. The conclusion of the Gemara, as you see here, is the halachic times of davening are based on when the daily korbanot were brought. So we daven Shachris because every morning they brought a korban by the 4th hour. We daven Mincha because they brought it before Shkia, before sunset, the korban tamid of the afternoon. At night they used to burn the remnants of the korbanos on the mizbeach, and that was all night, and that's why Marav is, you technically have all night, although Chazal say you have to daven Marav before midnight. These are the origins of tefillah. I hope this year has helped engender a little bit of a feeling. It's only a beginning. Hopefully everyone should listen to it and everyone should feel connected. Of course, if anyone has any comments, please email me, Rabbi Weiss, mympjc @gmail.com. That's Rabbi Weiss, RABBIWEISS, MMYMP, Moshe Yosef, Moshe Pinchas, JC @gmail.com. With any comments, any future requests, and Mr. Sham will be able to continue having these shiurim. Have a nice day. Sit down as a family and listen to these shiurim. Have your kids listen to these shiurim. I think they're very important. Mr. Sham will continue along the way, and I'll be able to send out the recordings.